Hello, everyone. It's your goat, me. Things are getting really, really interesting. It seems like we're just going from one thing to the other in the Hoyoverse community right now. We were worrying about Casterus alt and like global cooldowns. And now we're worrying about Genshin VA drama. What are we doing, guys? Maybe we take a step back, you know, maybe we chill out just a little bit, maybe we all try to calm down, you know. I can hope, of course, it'll never happen, but I can hope. This video isn't even just like for a bit. Like I'm genuinely trying to make light of the situation and like understand what's going on. So half of this video is me trying to like bring more light into the situation and try to like bring in a different voice. And then also equal parts me trying to understand and like me hoping you guys in the comments are going to tell me what exactly is like going on. Right? But like from my understanding, there's no jokes to be made here. It's just bad. Like there's nothing to poke fun at, you know? And I can't exactly fully say I know what the hell's going on, because I don't. I mean, I know a lot of the details, but I don't know absolutely everything, because it seems that maybe this has been going on for a while and hasn't even just been like the Paimon English VA crash out. It seems that maybe this is starting to go into a lot more different territory. And it seems like even before that event happened, there was a lot of things going on with this VA strike, which is very sad because from my understanding, it was made for a very good reason, which I'll touch up on later on. But like other VAs getting harassed, I'm not too sure what Kinnich's VA did to make people that mad, but like, let's tone it down, guys. Friendly fire. We're all part of the same community. Come on. I can't really sit here and say that, like, you know, I understand everything. But when it starts to get into the territory of harassing other people and, you know, torches and pitchforks, it's very hard to kind of, you know, get a good idea of what's going on and who did what and who's saying what and who's doing what. Even though I've seen a lot of the like tweets and like videos, the things happening and people saying bad things. And I understand that a lot of VAs are getting into a lot of trouble and making this look like a very bad situation. But fortunately we still have Rio's VA. Riothley's VA is still being the GOAT. So I did kind of watch that video, and really, if you want a deeper understanding on what the strike is, or really if it is a strike at all at this point, go watch his video. I'll actually probably link it into the description. It's a very solid video, and I do recommend you watch it. Very good work. Yeah. I kind of hinted at it before, literally like a few short sentences ago. Is this even a strike at this point? And this is not me attacking the strike, by the way. The purpose of the strike is very good. VAs should have that, you know, guarantee that their voice isn't just going to be put into an AI and chipped out, and then, you know, suddenly they're out of a job because, oh, okay, we just needed you for voice samples, you know, which... that should absolutely be a baseline part of the job. But all that work for it to kind of start to fall apart like this, and maybe it was even kind of falling apart a little bit like midway through, at least from what I understand, it's genuinely disappointing. Because this is a strike for a very good purpose. You know, they went on strike for a reason. They went on strike from due worry. Because obviously Hoyo's team isn't handling it the best. And the fact that they had to strike for this long, kind of weird. You'd assume that Hoyo would just be willing to sign it and get it done. But also I understand that Hoyo isn't exactly the company responsible for it. And it is more so that it is a voice acting agency that Hoyo uses. I don't think Hoyo has their own in-house agency. More so, it is the agency that they work with to get these VAs that is the main problem. But again, it is just very genuinely disappointing to see it go down in flames like this, and to see so many voice actors lose that position in the community that they had because of a situation like this, especially when the cause seemed so worth backing. And I'll touch up on it a little bit further on, but I'm gonna like delve into it a bit here. It's gonna make doing stuff like this a lot harder in the future, because people are just gonna start to assume the worst. I think the Paimon crash out and the further crash outs that a lot of the VAs have been having makes it very difficult to want to back a project like this in the future. Not saying that nobody will, but it is going to get a lot of people maybe a bit more hesitant to really support something like this. It is very, very difficult to make people, you know, want to support corpos. And I don't think this has like fully gone off the deep end. I don't think a lot of people are going to support, you know, big corporation just because a few of the VAs are going out of their minds. But if even apologizing isn't working at this point, there's a problem. Because I think a lot of people called it that the only way for maybe the VAs to save some face is if they apologized. But just like a lot of people called out, once they did apologize, it seemed very forced and very fake. So, not exactly the best situation here, guys. And I think maybe a lot more consideration should have gone before we started posting things that made us seem like not great people. Because, you know, it is also affecting other lines of work for them now. I know Paimon's VA got casted into another role, into a very similar game like Genshin Impact. And then the live stream that she went live on announcing the role, she just got immediately just slammed on. And I'm not like sympathizing. Well, okay, half and half, maybe a little bit. I'm not totally sympathizing with her because I understand a lot of the things she said was wrong, and slamming the community like that for no reason, not the greatest, definitely not the greatest. But yeah, it is just very, very generally disappointing. And like I said, Rio's VA said it best. If you want to know more about the strike itself, please go watch his video. Rio's VA is absolutely like the best way to go with this. A lot of what he says is just amazing, and the dude is very knowledgeable in his field, and it shows. So, yes, this might sound like glazing, but it's glazing for a purpose. The dude genuinely knows what he's doing. He knows what's going on. And yeah, if you want more knowledge about that, and if you want more understanding of what the strike is about, please go watch his video, which I will in fact link in the description. But yeah, I just want to like obviously understand further what's going on, but I also want to set the stage of maybe trying to find a median ground and a middle understanding onto what is going on. Because on one hand, let's be real, guys. Let's be real. It's not about one side or the other here. VA work is a very, very important industry, especially to the larger community, not just in games, but in other forms of media. Yes, we absolutely do need VA protection, right? It should be a part of their contract to say that my voice is my voice, and I refuse for it to be used in AI. And they should absolutely be able to protect their line of work from shady companies that would go that route. So I want to come out the gate and say that, yes, that is absolutely an important facet, and we do need to stop greedy, shady corporations from doing that kind of thing. However, that doesn't make the people involved saints, right? Obviously, a lot of the VAs have been doing questionable things themselves, and the way they're treating the community and the way they treat the people around them and the way they treat their fellow coworkers is very unbecoming, right? VAs have a very important role in the community, right? They're the faces of a lot of characters that we love, and even just beyond that, people find a lot of comfort and a lot of safety, not only in the characters that they voice act, but in their voice. You know, they attach their voice to a lot of comfort characters and a lot of people that maybe they even relate to in some way. And that's why a lot of them end up becoming so beloved, because they are able to garner this community and foster it just using their voice, just attaching it to a character that others enjoy, because that character is able to inspire different emotions in them. So the role that VAs have, not just in Genshin or in Honkai or in the immediate Hoyo community, but it could be in other animes and other forms of media, right? It's very important that not only does that role remain protected, but it also is treated with some level of care, right? It is a privilege, I think, to be able to work in that field, especially because I myself at one point in life, and to be honest, I still do a little bit, especially as someone who wanted to like get into that field and wanted to be a voice actor for the longest time, right? Seeing all this stuff go down is very disheartening and kind of heartbreaking, because I myself found a lot of comfort in these voice actors and found a lot of, motivation to keep going in that kind of role, right? In the roles that they acted in. This isn't the first time big VA drama has happened, and I doubt it will be the last. And I think overall in the future, this is just going to get swept under the rug, unfortunately. As much as we want to make a big deal out of it right now, it is just an inevitable fact that this will get swept under the rug, either because Genshin will host some event, or they will do something, or a bigger fish will come out, and people will be more attached on that. And I think this is absolutely just kind of a passing phase. And it is unfortunate that this is what made the voice actor strike kind of come back into relevancy, because let's be honest, it was kind of losing steam for a little while, and this did absolutely bring it back, just not in a very good light. And that is, again, very disheartening. Yes, companies do bad things. No, that doesn't make the employees innocent on all accounts. The way that the voice actors, or at least some of these voice actors, are treating their community and treating the people around the community and treating online content creators is just really, really bad. And it is not a good show of their character, and it is not a good show of, the community that they should be trying to foster, which is a positive one, which is really unfortunate, because I know that some of these VAs have done some very, very good things and have fostered some amazing communities and have done very good things to be a part of this community. But, one wrong move, and unfortunately that puts a wrench in a lot of things. Again, just something to keep in mind. It's a privilege to work in the industry, and that privilege should be protected on both sides. It should be protected in the fact that voice actors should absolutely have a right to their own work and have a right to their own voice, because if you really dig into it, if you start to synthesize someone's voice, it goes into synthesizing their personality. Not only are voice actors responsible for giving that character a personality, but really at the end of the day, they put a part of themselves into that character. They step into the shoes of that character and put a little bit of themselves into the pre-established personality of the character that they're giving a voice to. So the second that you start to synthesize something like that, it becomes very immoral at the end of the day. And it should absolutely be a protected part of their contract, saying that, yeah, again, my voice is my own, and I refuse for it to be used in any AI algorithm, because voice hatching is already especially shady, and it can already be used for a lot of bad things, and especially I think there's just a deeper conversation that needs to be had in the direction that AI is going and where it's like going in our society. And I think people are being a little bit too willing to just, you know, pass this by and start using it for absolutely everything. There does absolutely need to be a pause on it to understand where exactly it's going, because there's going to be a lot of people that say, oh, AI isn't that big a deal, right? It's very obvious to tell when it's faked, and people are going to get on people's asses if they tell it's faked. And yeah, that's the truth. But also over time, it's going to become a lot less easy to understand what is real and what is fake. And AI is already heading in the direction where it is difficult to tell people's voices apart. So, you know, let's try to slow down. Yeah, it's a privilege in that way that should be protected, but it is also equally our job to hold these VAs accountable when they mess up or do something, especially when they just keep doubling and doubling down and doing stuff like this and harassing their own co-workers and the people that they claim to be friends with. I imagine the VA community to be a very tight-knit friend group, especially, you know, given when you work for a company like Hoyo. I imagine that a lot of the VAs know each other personally, and I've seen that they have been to a lot of events together. And so if these people, you know, claim to be friends, when you start attacking other friends and being two-faced like that, it should absolutely be looked at, you know, what you're willing to do there and the people you're willing to hire again. Unfortunately, a lot of these VAs have made it not only harder on themselves, but harder on their colleagues to find support. And that's a really bad thing. That's really unfortunate because, again, they hold a very, very special place in people's hearts. Like, I know a lot of my favorite, like, actors are voice actors who have voiced a lot of my favorite characters. And to see the things that they get up to outside of just that character, seeing them use their voice in amazing ways. I know the voice actor for Batman from the animated series before he passed did a lot of amazing things and made a lot of amazing videos for people that was really just inspiring and very heartfelt and very warm. And to see someone like that, you know, go is very heartbreaking. And I get that might not make a lot of sense to bring up now into the drama. And I'm not trying to bring the name into the drama. Fuck no. But I am trying to give everyone here kind of an understanding of just how powerful the role of a voice actor is. But I think we all understand that. So, you know, again, it's just food for thought, something to keep in mind. If I don't fully understand this, like, scope of the situation, please feel free to enlighten me in the comments. I'm sure a lot of people will. But just, we need to take a step back here, guys, and understand that not everybody's in the right and not everybody's in the wrong. It's just a lot of things need to be talked about and a lot of things need to be hashed out. And that's kind of it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Makes me very happy. Makes you very based. Again, like and comment pushes the video in the algorithm, boosts engagement, and engagement is based. Follow my Twitter and my Twitch, even though I don't really use them all that often, but I'm going to start using them as the channel grows. And I absolutely will be making a bigger full-scale video about this, not only just regarding the Hoyo community, but also just all this drama in general, because it feels like a lot of this has just been boiling over from the past year. And there's a lot of facets about this that I think require a lot more research for me to fully not only understand, but for me to comment on. And speaking of, please do give me your opinions in the comments below. I want to see maybe where I messed up on something, or if I'm just touching this on a surface level, which I probably am. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Peace.